he has a different level of experience now. 7 games is more than none. But at the same time, I think that there'll be some things that we do that he hasn't seen. I think the biggest thing is he's just more poised. He was just trying to make a lot of things happen in the first couple of weeks of the season, but you can see his maturity level and him just settling in.
There's a lot of people that don't believe this will be much of a football game. You don't win games on paper.
Well, I can tell you right now that I'm not worried about what the beliefs are. You still have to play the game. You have to play the game each and every week, and that's what I tell these guys is if that was the case, we wouldn't even show up if we knew that we were going to get the win. There's always, people say who has the odds to win. You still have to play that game.
He may be a little more experienced, Mike Riley, but is there an advantage for you guys to be able to pick up on more tendencies through the first 8 weeks?
Oh, yeah, there's more tendencies, but at the end of the day, they have one thing, and that's Fred Stamps. And as long as Fred Stamps playing, and Hugh Charles and all those guys, they do a good job of being complement players, but it's kind of hard to just contain Fred because you start to do things that you shouldn't have to do. So they still pose a threat. We still have to play solid defense all the way around to make sure that we don't cause any explosions. They lead the league right now in explosive plays.
Is Dwight Anderson the guy to take 90% against Stamps?
You know what? I wouldn't say 90. I won't put a number on it, but I sleep a whole lot better knowing the DA is there when we play man coverage. And, all those guys, they may put him in front of T. Mays, but I think for the most part, the secondary we have guys that can run, guys that's faced him enough times to where they don't panic when he's around.
White's faced he's going to face 3 different receivers. So he's got Nick Lewis, and then he's got S.J. Green, and now he's got Stamps, another different size. Is that just the versatility in Dwight that he can adapt to facing these kind of different guys?
Well, some of it is just the position they play, that it always looks up that they're right in front of DA. But, there are some things that sometimes we do match them up. But for the most part, like I said, I think all those guys out there have good coverage ability.
Is there danger of you open up too much for the other receivers in Edmonton?
Oh, no. I tell you one thing we're not going to do. We're not going to roll coverage and do all those things to give them those chances. I've had those days when Getzlaff had big games. You roll too much to one guy, you're going to get another guy. So, we got to play good, solid defense. We got to be able to get after the quarterback a little bit and just make sure, that we're good with our fundamental technique and make sure there's very tight windows for him to throw into.
After a number of fumbles last week, is ball security?
Say it again?
After a number of fumbles last week, is ball security important to you guys this week?
Oh, definitely. Right now we have 7 fumbles, and they've all come in little bundles. So we have to just make sure that we curb that and that, that's not a area of concern for us going on. And the only way we're going to do is protect ourselves because just like anything else, you open up a can of worms, people start coming after that.
Jock Sanders wasn't out there today. Speculation or?
You can speculate, yeah.
No, explanation, I said.
Just the same thing about Jock Sanders. Is there something more to just the fact he wasn't out there today or not?
I saw him out here today, toward the end.
Who's going to be returning punts this week?
Who?
Who will be returning kicks?
I promise you I need the same thing answered. It'll be by committee, a number of guys. Like I said, we'll make sure that there's some guys out there that that'll be able to field the ball for us.
Talk about the receiver package that you might be sort of focusing on Saturday.
Still trying to see who's coming on the roster, huh?
Trying.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, I really will tell you and just talk to Brendan. We got a lot of stuff that's going to come down to game time decision because, even the guys are going to work out right before that game. But, there's some guys that we have on the roster that I think will fulfill those spots.
Corey, when you talk about the roster, and we've talked about before, the continuity that you've had this year has made it a lot easier for you, hasn't it?
Not just the continuity. The biggest thing is when we have our men that step up, the next guy comes up, he does a good job, and whether it's just being solid and consistent. And that's what we talked about after practice, the next man up. Because, at some point in time, you're going to have somebody hurt, somebody's going to be out of your roster. That can't be an excuse. And if the next guy can't step in and get the job done, he shouldn't be here.